Welcome back to NBA Cinema. We have to talk about what happened in the locker room between Rachel Nichols and LeBron James. Now, this happened a few games ago after the 1 point loss, I believe it was, to Orlando when Franz Wagner hit the three late where AD missed the two free throws. And we're going to look at what JJ Redick said, one of the things he said about the post game, and then a question Rachel Nichols asked him. And just for reference, guys, Rachel Nichols and LeBron relationship has been rocky since Rachel Nichols has called out, or I don't even look at it as a negative thing, what she said about Bronny, because I'm going to play the clip, what she said before Undisputed was canceled. And then LeBron unfollowed her shortly after that. So maybe he's still carrying a little bit of animosity from that. So without further ado, we're going to get in these clips, man. Let's check it out.
The upside, he can be a good defensive guard. He's got great court vision. He seems to be a very good teammate, which was not a given his upbringing. He could have had this holier than now, I'm LeBron's
Agreed.
son attitude.
Yep.
No one on any team he's ever played on has said that. He needs to learn how to create more. He needs to improve his shot. Now, his father improved his shot significantly throughout his NBA career, so
Well, he certainly did this last year.
certainly we can see Bronny having a trajectory like that. Will he ever be a star? I don't think so. It does not seem like just his size and some of the other things about the way he plays. I don't think he's a future star player, but high end. Is he a Marcus Smart? I mean, is that there are guys who have made a living in this league being solid defensive guards. Davion Mitchell is a comp that Bronny himself brought up, and that's a guy with quick feet, similarly sized, a lot of defensive point of attack tendencies. So there are guys in the NBA who have made decent careers out of being the kind of player that at his high point he could be.
Okay, so before we continue with this video, let me know in the comments, does anybody take exception with what she said or the scouting report she gave on Bronny? Now we're going to get into what JJ said in his post game, just a little snippet, and we're going to get into the clip where LeBron responded to a question that Rachel had. Let's peep.
JJ, you guys have been really good in crunch time, especially through this stretch. How much do you look at just simply the missed free throws versus some of the other stuff and down the stretch?
Would have to go rewatch every possession there in the last couple minutes. Overall, I felt comfortable with our execution up until the missed free throws and the Wagner three. I would say don't quote me on that, but it's just a general thought right now.
JJ was just talking about how it can be hard for him to let games go, particularly losses. He's up for hours doing game film afterward. Is that something maintainable for an NBA season as a coach, or just sort of that intensity, or what do you think is going to happen as he goes?
I don't know. I'm not a coach, right?
Well,
I don't know. I'm a player.
You've seen a few things.
I don't go. I ain't never went home with a coach before after a game in my life.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure. So I have no idea.
So LeBron was clearly agitated with Rachel Nichols' question. And you could see he was listening at first, but when he started asking about JJ Redick, there's a whole conversation going on around not only him selecting Bronny and controlling that whole thing with him coming to the Lakers, but also JJ Redick, the podcast, Mind the Game. And they talked basketball on a podcast while Darvin Ham was still the coach, and he's trying to separate himself from that. And I just don't know if he can. Now, was he within his rights to get upset with Rachel Nichols at that time? Who knows? Because again, there's some underlying things like what Rachel said on that show upset Brian and made him unfollow her on social media platforms. But I thought what she said was a fair criticism, because I don't know if I could ever see Bronny reaching Marcus Smart or even Davion Mitchell's level in the National Basketball Association. So those were actually complementary high-end comparisons, that she was talking about, a respectable NBA player, because you can come in and develop true, or you can have your confidence taken if you ain't ready. And, I don't know if Bronny is into it like that, to immerse himself in it in the way he would have to improve at the rate he would have to improve. But, she asked, was that sustainable what JJ Redick was doing, watching film and driving himself crazy? And Mr. JJ Redick, I want to talk about what you had to say, the sneak dissing of Darvin Ham, how D'Lo got on board with you, and now D'Lo done went to the bench, trying to ride with you, and Darvin Ham was giving him more leash than he was deserving of at that point in his career. You saw some of his flame outs in Minnesota and other places, and so, for Darvin Ham to stick with him the way he did, it's funny how JJ has so much to say, and then he talking about the execution down the stretch is not as easy as you saw it on Mind the Game. You just draw it and people respond like robots. The X go where the X supposed to go, and the O just, on the way you draw it up on the sheet, the O gets picked perfectly, and then the X goes exactly where it's supposed to go. That sounds all good and dandy to you on the court. People reading you, people knowing what's going on, players get confused on the court. You can draw it up as nice as you want to, make it look as pretty as you want. But until you in that game, till you in that line of fire, you can't be criticizing the next coach. And you seeing that firsthand, oh, by the way, you don't have the experience that it takes to be a head coach. So now you trying to stay up and see what's happening. This is the normal thing when you're dealing with players. You're dealing with people that's not robots. So you can draw it up as pretty as you want to. You got to push the right buttons, have the right personnel, and not only have the right personnel, have the right personnel, roster management, and the right situations going down the stretch in a game to get everything executed the way you want to. And for your backup plan, you got to have another backup plan. So I know you like to draw plays and show the second action and the third action off of the inbound and all that. All that sound good until you actually coaching the players. And Mr. LeBron James, since you picked him as a coach, y'all going to be linked together. No, everybody not stupid. Everybody is not going to just sit back and say, they playing in our face. They did this, and we ain't never going to ask a question about it. Rachel going to come in and ask a question about it. Yeah, man, I'm not the biggest fan of how he responded to that. You could even say, ask JJ, and just leave it at that. But I did see where Rachel got kind of smart with LeBron and said, are you sure you never went home with a coach? So she shot back. She sent a little shot back at him. So that shows that she's not tied to like ESPN or nothing like that no more. For her to respond in that way, you could tell she got a little more freedom to say what she wanted to say on the network she on, the way she clapped back right there. But, again, Bron can say what he want, but this whole table that's been set with him, JJ Redick, Mr. Know-It-All, like my boy Ticket say, JJ Rhetoric, with him, bringing Bronny in and all that, all these things are storylines linked to you. And they know that's what you wanted. I don't care what y'all say. We know you wanted JJ as a coach, and that's why he's there, period. Anybody trying to act like that's not the case is crazy. And Bronny was drafted because that's what you wanted. And not only that, you made them give him a guaranteed contract before he earned it. So let's just talk about it like that, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.